Hey crafty friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into another fun card making adventure. I'll be creating 4 delightful cards using the Say Cheese Classic Pooh Collection from Spellbinders. If you missed my unboxing video, don't worry, just click the card in the top corner to catch up. Let's get started with our first card, featuring everyone's favorite bear, Pooh, and his honey. I've already pre-cut the pieces using cardstock from my collection. I began with the largest pot, layering the biggest honey piece on top for that overflowing effect. The creamy label goes right on the front, adding a nice contrast. Using liquid adhesive, I assembled the smaller pots, adding labels and even some lids for variety. The largest pot comes from the Honey pot set, while the smaller ones, and of course Pooh, is from the Pooh and Piglet set. Next up is Pooh. I attached one arm and added a big glob of honey to his hand. I applied adhesive to the bottom part of his body and slid him into the pot so it looks like he's sitting right in it. To enhance the look, I added some extra honey drips to the bottom of the label. For the adorable micro bee, I attached the yellow strips to the black body and then used white cardstock for the wings, attaching them to the back of the bee. It's the perfect little detail. For the card mat, I chose a piece of patterned paper cut to 4 inches by 5¼ inches, and then placed it on top of light blue cardstock in A2 size, which is 4¼ by 5½. I used liquid adhesive to attach the bee and the sentiment in the top corners. The sentiment is stamped using the Better Press sentiment sets from the collection. To make Pooh and his honey pot stand out, I used foam tape for a slightly raised effect. The rest of the pots are attached at the bottom using liquid adhesive. I embellished the card with glittery yellow gems, which complement the honey drops beautifully. Finally, I attached everything to a white A2 size card base. I usually use pre-made card bases with envelopes, but you can easily make your own by cutting cardstock to 8½ by 5 inches and folding it in half. And there you have it. Our first card is complete. I have pre-cut all the pieces to save time. For Pooh, I've chosen a bright yellow, and for Piglet, I went with 2 shades of pink to give some depth to his look. I started with Piglet, attaching the darker body piece to the lighter pink main body using liquid adhesive. I experimented with the placement of his arms and legs and decided to position them as if he's walking. Once I was happy with the look, I attached the feet to the bottom of his body. Before adding the arms, I placed a red scarf around his neck. To complete Piglet, I added a small piece of black cardstock to the back of his head for the eyes. Next for Pooh. I attached one arm stretched out in front and then added the legs, going for a similar walking pose. I positioned the other arm at an angle so he can hold hands with Piglet. For the background, I used A2 sized light blue cardstock and added hills made from 2 shades of green cardstock to create a scenic hilltop. The dies I used for the hills aren't available anymore, but you can easily cut them by hand or use any hill die you have. Before gluing everything down, I laid out the scene to ensure everything fit perfectly with the card mat's boundaries. I placed the balloon and clouds on the top blue section, with Piglet, Pooh, and the sentiment on the green hills. Once satisfied with the layout, I glued the sentiment to the bottom corner. Attached the balloon string to Pooh's hand and adhered it to the back of his head and the red balloon. To add dimension, I used foam tape on the back of Piglet, Pooh, and the balloon. Before adhering everything, I positioned the clouds and attached them with liquid adhesive, allowing them to overhang the mat. I then adhered Pooh and Piglet to the card mat, followed by trimming the excess clouds. For some sparkle, I cut out butterflies from the Eeyore and Tigger collection using pink and purple in both solid and glitter cardstock. I layered the glitter piece on top of the solid and then attached them to the card mat, leaving the glitter wings slightly raised for a flying effect. A small black strip added the butterfly's body on top of the glitter layer. Finally, I attached the completed mat to a white card base. And there you have it, a whimsical Pooh and Piglet card. The third card I am making features Tigger and Piglet. Tigger and Eeyore come in their own set, while Piglet comes in the Pooh and Piglet collection. I've pre-cut the pieces to save some time. For Tigger, I have orange and black cardstock, and for Piglet, I'm using 2 shades of pink. I begin by assembling Tigger, attaching the orange stripes to the black cardstock using liquid adhesive. I started with his body and then moved on to the legs. One thing I love about this collection is the versatility. It's so easy to mix and match sets to create the perfect scene. Next, I assembled Piglet by attaching the darker pink chest to the main light pink body. I added the arms and legs and finished with a small black cardstock piece for his eyes. With Piglet complete, I returned to Tigger to adjust the placement of his legs, opting for a playful pouncing pose. With the characters ready, I chose a piece of patterned cardstock for the background. And once I was happy with that design, I trimmed it down to A2 size. However, I felt it needed a bit more, so I layered it over a light blue A2 sized cardstock and trimmed the pattern paper just slightly to 4 inches by 5.25 inches to create a lovely blue border. Using double-sided tape, I adhered the pattern paper to the blue cardstock. To keep this card more flat, I attached Tigger and Piglet to the background using liquid adhesive and added the sentiment in the top corner. To finish off, I added 2 small, light pink gems at an angle beside the sentiment for a little touch of sparkle. Finally, I adhered the completed mat to a white A2 sized card base. And there you have it, our charming Tigger and Piglet card. This is the 4th and final card in this video, and it's all about Eeyore. I've pre-cut all the pieces, using Spellbinders paper in Partly Cloudy for Eeyore, along with his pink tail bow and black fur. I've also selected a couple of better pressed sentiments from the collection to see which fits best with the finished card. To assemble Eeyore, I started by attaching the fur to his neck, adhering it behind the body. I added the fur to the end of his tail and figured out the placement of his legs, gluing them behind the body once I was happy with the look. For his tail, I first attached the main bow, then added the center knot piece, and adhered the tail to the back of the body. Finally, I used a strip of black cardstock to create his eyes. Now let's move on to the shaker card. I used a black A2 sized cardstock with a fun oval cutout. This die is from the November 2024 Large Die of the Month Club from Spellbinders. I'll link it in the description. For the background, I used a smaller piece of patterned paper. I applied double-sided tape all around the back of the black cardstock and placed a piece of plastic acetate sheet over the window portion. Next, I added raised foam tape strips around the cutout, creating a wall to hold all the confetti. I chose fall-themed confetti with mushrooms, which I thought would pair perfectly with the 100-acre wood theme. After pouring out a nice pile of confetti and flattening it, I carefully placed the patterned paper on top of the foam tape. I had to trim the paper slightly to ensure it lined up with the black cardstock. Since the card is already on the thicker side, I kept it simple by gluing the sentiment and Eeyore directly to the front in opposing corners. Then I attached the whole piece to a white A2 sized card base to finish it off. Here's another look at all 4 cards we made today. If you'd like to check out the products I've used, I've linked them in the description and on my blog. Thanks for crafting with me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more crafty fun, and let me know in the comments which card was your favorite. See you in the next video. Bye!